is going on, Lunatic Fringe? I want to get you prepared for something that you're going to like yourself, but you're going to hate for your friends. And that is this. Terra Luna Classic is going to pump. It's going to have a nice big run. When it does, a lot of people that you know will get that FOMO bug and they will start to buy and they will pump the price up and they will become your exit liquidity. When that happens, you're going to sell somewhere near the top, at least to take profit. A lot of other people are going to do the same thing. Once they do that same thing, price is going to come back down. When that price comes back down, all of the people, the brokies, if you will, who are just not going to make it because they don't buy the bottom. They just buy tops all the time because they're trying to get that 2x FOMO while you're making a 30 or a 40x gain off of it. All of those people, they're going to start hating on the project. It's a story as old as cryptocurrency anyway. So, but it is a story as old as time. There are always people that buy the tops of investment vehicles. And that is why people make money. That's how it gets made. It's the transfer of wealth from one person to another. So you're going to make it. They're not going to make it, but they're going to feel like they can get a little something out of it. And then when that happens, they're going to be mad. And we're going to deal with FUD. By the way, that's not a prediction. I'm from the future. I already know this is going to happen. So sit back, relax, put a seatbelt on. If you're doing something, you shouldn't be watching while you're driving, but if you are, put a seatbelt on. Let's do something. Anyway, let's talk about what's going on. And guys, look, I'm going to be pretty excited when we start to see it. And it's starting to feel like that altcoin season that I keep telling you, I need to see Bitcoin run a little bit, starting to feel like something is building, but always feels like that when we're having a surge in the market. We're not even near the all-time high of the crypto market yet because we had such a good little run the last time. Now there's profit taking and we're ready for that big boom. So let me talk to you about it. Okay, so Leonardo puts out this article about a thought-provoking DM question. Many of the Lunc community after 3 years need to take a reality pill. Thoughts below. Okay. Now, what does he say? All the project developers around the Terra ecosystem are impressive, but to create more utility and attract investors, we must deal with the issue of the circulating supply, which is huge. Without that, we will not move forward. Do you agree with me? The supply doesn't matter. By the way, I just want to be very, very clear with you guys. The supply doesn't matter. The dilution of the value of what you are holding because of the increase in the supply mattered to the people who were invested. Now, the dilution of the supply matters to people who want to hold on to their 100 million tokens while everybody else's gets burned. Okay, there's a greed impact playing out right there. There are cryptos that have billions. There are cryptos that have millions. There are cryptos that have trillions of supply with ridiculously high market caps. Let's be very, very clear. The supply of Dogecoin, 150 billion. Market cap, 37 billion. Circulating supply of Shiba Inu, 589 trillion. Market cap, 7.67 billion. Now, if Terra Luna Classic had the market cap of Shiba Inu, where would we be? You see, if we had the market cap of Shiba Inu, we would have 2 zeros, 13.9. It is not about the supply. It is about the market cap ultimately. And it's about, are you attracting people into the ecosystem? Currently, that is not happening. And that's what needs to happen for us to have a surge. It is about market cap. Also, if you are in a position right now where you bought at a certain price and you are down on your investment, you have two options: sell your bag or DCA. It is very simple. If you believe in the project, buy more, increase your holding, lower your dollar cost average. That's very simple. If you don't believe, what are you waiting for? Get out and let the people who do want to be in buy your bag from you. And by the way, when you sell it back to the pool, it doesn't get bought up right away, but eventually it does. And that's a price dip, and people buy that dip. So this is a very simple process here. If you're underwater, make a decision. But by the way, complaining about it, not gonna fix it. Whining about it, not gonna fix it. Being a better investor is what fixes your problem. Now, if that came off harsh to you, My apologies. You see what happened to my hair over here. I went with the highest color blonde the other day, and look at what happened. Like, that's not blonde. Like, that's whatever. You know what I mean? I'm going to be wearing a hat for days now because, God, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, guys, if you haven't already, consider becoming a member to my channel. It's $4.99 a month. By the way, there are a few donors who pay $99.99 a month. So if you want to support me in the best way possible, that's one of the ways. If I have 10 subscribers who are doing that, awesome. Terra Casino is your place to go for risk-based gaming. If you bet on the Bears last night, my bad. I didn't know they were going to do. I didn't know that they were going to pull a Matt Eberflus. So my fault. By the way, I didn't predict that they were going to win anyway, but you get my point. So anyway, use your username in my live streams. Might help you out. You might win a little bit. $50 a day is what we're giving away. Also, Terraport Casino, Terraport.finance is your place to go for utilities and meme coins in the Terra Luna Classic ecosystem. Now let's get back to our regularly scheduled program, which is talking about what is going on right here. Some rough numbers from ChatGPT. Here's the interesting thing from ChatGPT. If I want to reduce the total Lunc supply to 350 million based on today's burn level, how long would that take? By the way, why do we do 350 million? Because at the time of collapse, the original supply of Luna was 1 billion and it was down to 350 million. That is why it had gotten diluted. Okay, so short answer at today's burn pace, centuries. Here's the math for fresh numbers, okay? If we're burning an average burn of 90.78 million per day, then that was going to take 196 years. Okay, so that's a huge number and gives you some real ouch perspective on it. Okay, but let's talk about what they're doing over here. BNB experiences daily transaction ranging from 11 to 14 million, with 10 to 20% of these users accounting for 80 to 90% of them. In contrast, Lunc is estimated to have transactions in the low tens of thousands, equivalent to around 5% at best. Okay, now what we're talking about here is a bridge to BNB, and that bridge to BNB would allow more investors to come in and burn Terra Luna Classic through their ecosystem as opposed to through the Lunc chain. 3 years of tax narrative has driven investors away. This should be new investors pay. Why should new investors pay for other investors' mistakes? Did you just hear what I said? Why should new investors pay 1.5% tax for the mistakes of people in the past? The answer is to achieve a significant return on their investment. Buy Lunc now, stake it, and then wait for substantial returns while staking rewards at a dollar level decrease. 100% of people are happy with others paying taxes, but that changes when it affects them directly. And what did I say at the beginning of this? If you have 100 million, you want to hold your 100 million and you don't want anybody else to, you want yours to be held because you want to be able to sell 100 million. You don't want to burn yours. And that in itself is the problem. Why would a developer invest time and money and effort in supporting Lunc when a governance vote on a tax bill could kill its business, which compared to other chains is already small? 3 years of tax narrative has driven developers away. This is part of the substantive white paper which forecasted the impact the CMM would have in reducing the supply. Now, this is very old, by the way. I think I feel like I feel like this was something that we were talking about a long time ago, so I'm not going to get into that. But this is, or this could be the guess that they were taking about how much there was going to be, or potential burns and stuff like that, based on, you know, the factors of volume, which is where you get this number here, where you're getting 75 million in the first year, you're going to burn, then you get 161 million by the second year, as supplies increase, collateral value increase. So under this schedule, the 10-year cumulative buy and burn of 18 billion would remove about 6.5 trillion Lunc, providing the average price stays below 0.00286. Hey, guess where my target was? Right there. Karma, isn't it? If the average price is higher, the timeline extends beyond 10 years. If lower, it shortens. Forecasts are never perfect, but the key takeaway is clear. The collateral market maker can remove trillions of Lunc. Now, the issue here would be very simple. The more you reduce the supply, the more people will FOMO. The more people will FOMO, the more price goes up. Now, the question is one of, it's very simple. Do you care about the chain or do you care about your wallet and your pocket? Now, most people are going to answer that they care about their wallet and their pocket, but they're going to tell you, I care about the chain. And we should know at this point that that's BS. What people care about is how it affects their pocket. Okay. Forecasts are never perfect, but the key takeaway is clear. The collateral market maker can remove trillions of Lunc. Despite it being part of a credible white paper, the approach did not gain enough support for universal implementation. Now, you got to ask yourself the question, why did it not? There are pieces to it that maybe don't make sense. There are pieces that people think are not going to work, but guess what? We're going to have to do something, right? So, and we should agree at that something has to be done. But despite it being not popular, the collateral market makers still operate at a smaller scale. For example, if 20% of USTC converts, the same projection applied to roughly 20% of the burn, not 100% of the burn. 20% of 6.5 trillion in burn would be 1.3 trillion. So we burned 1.3 trillion during that period of time. We require governance vote to participants on the ceramic repeg plan. So then it gives you the next steps on everything that needs to be done to give you just the whole idea. Then you've got Ridvan Young Turk, but I don't speak whatever that is. I don't speak it. You're talking nonsense. I hope you stay away. Am I? Educate me. I haven't seen any action other than being arrogant and constantly writing. Tell me why you haven't done anything in 3 years and are just writing. Because he's not the developer. Like, that's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes I just don't understand. Do people read this, they see the words, and then the words don't mean, like, if I come over as arrogant, that's on me. And this guy is probably like, you're being arrogant and saying you're not being arrogant, you arrogant person. It doesn't make any sense. I try not to. What I'm about to post could mean nothing, but it could mean everything, depending on your level of understanding, your exposure to Lunc, where you fit in the ecosystem. Portal stopped supporting Lunc, meaning Lunc and the whole of Cosmos are now isolated. Being able to transfer assets different blockchains in today's crypto marketplace is critical. And in a couple of weeks, there will be, this is the test right now. Currently, the first Lunc to BSC bridge is a maximum of 2 weeks away, followed by a Sol bridge, and then it can be anything. Ceramic will be able to bridge Lunc to any blockchain. In fact, the bridge is an evolution in bridging technology. It will go live first on Luna Classic, yes, the dead blockchain. Primarily built for the Ceramic Repeg plan, the intent is to make the bridge available to everyone. So the chain is going to open up by virtue of that. So first of all, I didn't mean to insult you, but I understand what you seem, but I understand that you seem arrogant. I've been closely following the Lunc issue for about 3 years. My point is, nothing is being said, and I don't think the Lunc supply is 6.49 trillion. Even a 5-year-old knows that. I don't know how to respond. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, is this a conspiracy by the Democrats to hide the number of circulating Luna class? It's just crazy to me. This is insane. It's on the blockchain. It's on the blockchain. So I'm sure you could figure it out. And he tried Grok. Grok gave him the same details, rounding. So and then he says your only job is to mock people. It's a shame. You'll see a lot of it. You ask a silly question, you get a silly answer, and then you act like I wasn't being silly. That's kind of wild. It's kind of wild. Okay. So, you know, I don't know who this guy is, but all I'm saying is it's weird. All right. So let's move on here. Not trying to dunk on somebody who might be a supporter. Anyway, Luna Classic having Juris is up a little bit in its pairing today. So we're seeing a little bit of movement. We're not seeing a great deal of movement. We're seeing a little bit of movement here. We like to see green in the market. We're going to skip through most of that. We're going to get to the validators. We're going to point out all nodes is about to pass auto stake again. So there is a battle for that top spot. So we'll keep an eye on that. I don't think it's really going to matter too much. Both of them seem to have decided to engage in voting, so we'll see how that carries out. Now, what we did do, by the way, is we are still bearish. It should be noted that we are still bearish. I still believe that we've got a dump coming, and I think people are too comfortable. If you look at Twitter right now, all you're seeing is people going, oh, man, we're going to bump, it's everything. It's altcoin season, bro. You got Carl to the moon and, you know, telling everybody that we're going to the moon, of course, and he's been telling you that for, I want to say 2 years now. Every Sunday, here it is, it's here, and it's never here. So, you know, it's maddening and ridiculous. But you know what? We all do it, right? Because sometimes you get those signals. Well, here's a signal for you. We almost had a golden cross, and instead of crossing, it broke down. When you break down like that, not a great sign. That means that the sell-off happened, boiled away momentum. But guess what? That momentum seems to be coming back. The first being that we've tested the 200 MA. Now, the last time we tested the 200 MA was in the middle of August. And here we are 2 weeks later doing another test on it. And you can see right here, this is what matters. We've been testing it over and over again, and we cannot break through that 200 MA. So that moving average simply means the average price for the last 200 days. Now, to get bullish momentum, really that means that sellers are getting exhausted. I hope that makes sense to you. All this means is that you can see here, this dump in price here is just sellers getting worn out. So now we've got some sideways action. So, starting to maybe, I'm giving myself credit for saying that it's going to curve, but, it looks like it's going to curve right there because we'll get a little bit of a push up here. And if we get a push up in this direction, guess what? That 200 MA will suddenly start to slow down in its descent, and then it will curve. And then that's going to be the bullish indicator that people are looking for. In addition, this thing will start to fly up this way. And by the way, the market is not predicated by these moving averages. The moving averages are a signal for how the market is responding to news and data coming out of Terra Luna Classic. So we found a price. I want to say this, you zoom out, you really kind of look at it. We kind of found a price where, going back 2 years, this was the spot. Going back a year, this was the spot. This is actually 3 years at this point. This is a year and a half ago. This is less than a year ago, but kind of close to it, or this was about a year ago. And then boom, here we are, right? That's what it looks like. Now, here's the good news. The good news is, last time we had an altcoin season was 270 days ago. That was right here. And look what happened when we had the last altcoin season. And by the way, the reason I can tell you that is because the altcoin season index has been updated to tell you the days since we've last had an altcoin season, right? So this is what happened during that altcoin season. So I want to assure you that, at a minimum, I would say that we're due for a 3x in a mini altcoin season. That wasn't even a breakout. Okay. Very few, if any, cryptos started to achieve all-time highs during that run-up. We had a nice little run by Ethereum going to 4,000. We had a nice little run for Solana going to $295. We had Bitcoin going to a new all-time high, but we didn't really have breakouts. XRP, maybe we could probably quantify XRP as part of that. But when the capital was getting sucked into XRP and Solana and Bitcoin, didn't leave a lot for everybody else. And Bitcoin was still, we were in the FOMO phase. So even on a dip with Bitcoin, we're still up higher than we were then on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin continues to suck it up and it's diluting a lot of what's going on here. So now the question is what's going to happen from here? And that's where the breakout happens. All right. So, ultimately, I think we're going 10x from this line right here. So that's 3 zeros, 27. And I think, again, we just talked about 2 zeros, 28 is the spot for where you're going to get real diminishing returns on the ceramic repeg plan. So, we're all looking at the same data and we're all seeing the same spots. So, I would venture to say that this is probably another good spot that we have some nice confidence here. If we got this is the 4-2-3-6 ratio from the last pump. And then up here, way, way, way up here without zooming out is boom, right there is going to be that next spot. And I've got 2 lines up here, but somewhere in this range is where I think we're going to end. And what does it look like overall? That's a long way off, right? But it's only about 12 billion market cap, which is very doable when you're in a bull run and you're starting to see a lot of movement happening. So it is really just a matter of time. Again, what we need to see is we need to see a break over here. We're going to see a moment in time here where, let me just kind of give you this here, that sort of range right there. If we get that sort of FOMO, and let's just say that this right here were the bottom, then we're talking about a move up here, not near all-time highs, but it's a nice little breakout. We get a nice little breakout right there, and it feels pretty good. And then we get that, then guess what? That puts us in line with this resistance right here. And then that's where you can potentially get your nice little breakout. So that's what we're looking to see happen. We're looking for that nice little breakout to play out over the next little while. So I know I got a little wordy in over-explaining this today, but I feel like we're on the verge of something. So let's keep going. Volume up to 10 million. Again, not impressive, but volume. Okay. By the way, OKX just announced it will delist Lunc and USTC. They will be delisted from OKX on September 10th. It was announced that Lunc and UST were delisted because they did not meet the listing criteria. OKX hosts dozens of trash coins. OKX, which hosts dozens of trash coins that should have been delisted before Lunc and UST, may have various reasons behind the decision. Due to the delisting, trading bots opened for the above pairs will gradually be closed before being. So not a great sign. But it's probably more about volume than anything. I mean, if you come over here and you look at the volume over on OKX, like you get the idea here that nobody over there cares, like it's 164,000, something like that. The places where you're actually getting traction are Binance, MEXC, BitGet. Nobody seems to care about OKX. So why does it matter? You know what I mean? And it's not a great thing, by the way. We're going in the wrong direction. We should at least recognize that. Burns are down to 180 million. Why are the burns down to 180 million? Trade volume way down. We're not seeing a big spike on anything right now. So the question then becomes like, what happens? Well, here's what matters. What matters are sellers. That's it. So if we've run out of and we have exhausted sellers, and by the way, remember, what you're seeing right now in price action is basically people just scalping each other. Like you're looking for tiny little pumps to make a few bucks off of. Then you're selling your bag and you're 1.5% in tax. And then you're just hoping for some upward momentum. And we'll get that upward momentum. But, fundamentally, it is my opinion, things are going to have to change. They're going to have to change dramatically in this ecosystem very quickly. It's cooked. So when you're infighting amongst each other and constantly whining and constantly crying, by the way, we're seeing this all over the place. All right. When you're infighting and that's all you're doing and that's all you're good for is infighting, and that's usually a sign that you have a problem. So we need to recognize that we have a problem. We need to work on governance solutions for it. And, if we do, then things will right themselves as a ship. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. We're at 63 in altcoin season, which means that we might be getting into altcoin season very, very soon. Yesterday was 59. Today it's 63. A lot of things are happening over here. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. And remember, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right.